In organizational life, people rarely react to reality itself. They react to their interpretation of reality. Careers stall, teams avoid difficult conversations, and leaders postpone decisions. Not because the risks are objectively high, but because they feel high. This gap between what exists and what is perceived is not a personal flaw. It is a fundamental feature of human cognition. Decades of psychological and organizational research show that people are wired to respond rapidly to perceived threats, often before verifying whether those threats are real. Kahneman, 2011. In the workplace, this tendency can quietly shape cultures of hesitation, avoidance, and missed opportunity. This article explores how perceived threats, rather than actual ones, drive behavior at work, how organizations unintentionally reinforce these perceptions, and how individuals and leaders can learn to recognize when fear is informative and when it is misleading. The psychology of perceived threat. Why the brain reacts before it verifies human decision-making is not purely rational. According to dual process theories, the brain relies on two systems: a fast, intuitive, emotional system and a slower, analytical system. Kahneman, 2011. In ambiguous situations, the fast system tends to dominate, especially when uncertainty or social risk is involved. In organizational contexts, this means that employees often respond to anticipated consequences rather than actual evidence. Research on threat perception shows that uncertainty itself amplifies fear responses, even when objective danger is minimal. Bar-Cohen et al. 2009. The brain prioritizes safety over accuracy. This mechanism explains why professionals may avoid speaking up in meetings despite psychological safety initiatives applying for roles they are qualified for, challenging unclear or unfair decisions. From a cognitive standpoint, these behaviors are protective. From an organizational perspective, they are costly. When fear governs action, innovation slows, learning declines, and performance becomes conservative rather than adaptive. Edmondson, 2018. How organizations create invisible barriers. The social construction of fear at work. Perceived threats are rarely created in isolation. They are shaped, reinforced, and transmitted through organizational culture. Sociological research demonstrates that shared meanings, what is safe, risky, or acceptable, emerge through repeated interactions, language, and informal norms. Weick, 1995. Employees quickly learn which behaviors are rewarded and which are quietly punished. Over time, assumptions solidify. Mistakes are remembered here. Only certain people can challenge decisions. Visibility is dangerous unless you are already established. These assumptions function as invisible barriers. They are rarely written down, yet they strongly regulate behavior. Studies on organizational silence show that employees often withhold ideas or concerns not because they lack them, but because they anticipate negative social or career consequences. Morrison and Millikan, 2000. Crucially, leaders may perceive the environment as open and supportive, whereas employees experience it as risky. This perceptual gap creates a feedback loop. Hesitation reinforces silence. Silence reinforces perceived danger. And the organization gradually loses access to honest information. Practical strategies. How to distinguish real risk from perceived risk. The goal is not to eliminate fear. Fear is an important signal. The goal is to evaluate it before obeying it. 1. Separate data from interpretation. Ask, what do I know for sure? What am I assuming based on past experiences or stories? Research on cognitive reappraisal shows that reframing perceived threats reduces emotional reactivity and improves decision quality. Gross, 2002. 2. Test reality incrementally. Instead of all-or-nothing action, take small, low-risk steps. Ask a clarifying question before assuming resistance. Share a partial idea rather than a fully formed proposal. Small experiments reduce ambiguity and provide honest feedback, which weakens imagined consequences. Edmondson, 2018. 3. Leaders. Make the invisible explicit. Slogans do not create psychological safety. It is created by observable behavior. Leaders should acknowledge uncertainty, openly respond constructively to dissent, normalize learning from mistakes. Empirical studies show that teams with high psychological safety outperform others because perceived threats are reduced, thereby enabling learning and contribution. Edmondson and Lay, 2014. 4. Revisit old conclusions. What felt dangerous early in a career or role may no longer be so. Perceived threats often lag behind actual capability and status. Periodic reflection helps update outdated internal narratives. Working with perception, not against it. Much of my work sits exactly at this intersection, where fear feels real, but the threat requires examination. In my work with professionals and leaders, I focus on identifying the perceptual barriers that quietly shape careers and decision-making. These are rarely skill gaps. More often, they are untested assumptions about risk, visibility, and consequence. Through one-on-one career advisory, leadership reflection processes, and strategic LinkedIn positioning, I help individuals clarify which concerns are grounded in reality and which are inherited narratives. Translate experience and value into precise, confident professional positioning. Reduce unnecessary self-censorship in decision-making, visibility, and career moves. Build a presence that reflects capability rather than fear of misinterpretation. This is not about pushing people to be fearless. It is about helping them see the ground more clearly before deciding how to move. When perception shifts, behavior follows, and careers tend to open up where they once felt constrained. Conclusion: not every fear is a warning. Some are echoes of past environments that no longer exist. In modern organizations, progress often depends less on removing real obstacles and more on recognizing when obstacles are perceptual. When individuals and organizations learn to pause, examine, and test perceived threats, they replace reactive behavior with informed action and create space for growth, learning, and more honest work.